Welcome to the Christian Dad Podcast, your place for encouragement and practical tips on how to be a great dad. I'm James Pelicane, and I am learning to shut up. George Bernard Shaw said it best when he said, never miss a good opportunity to shut up. And I'm learning to be quiet, and it's been a wonderful journey. Today, I want to kind of bring you behind the scenes, just some of my thought processes and some of the blessings that I discovered by simply listening. I hope you enjoy today's show. I kind of want to pick up where we left off. It's just some of my thoughts that I've been having about this quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. I've realized that really good things happen when we listen to others. It's funny, if you listen to someone's success story, it's not uncommon to see that they listened to a problem in the marketplace and then they responded to it, right? Great things happen when we listen to ourselves, though. And I don't think we've actually thought about that we need to listen to ourselves as well. And awesome things happen when we listen to our God. Today, I want to focus on that middle one. Great things happen when we listen to others. I read a book by a guy named Oscar Tremboli, and he defines listening as listening is the ability or the willingness to have your mind being changed. Anyway, he does this exercise in this book called Discovering the Hidden Keys to Becoming a Better Communicator. No, How to Listen, that's the name of the book. How to Listen, Discovering the Keys to Becoming a Better Communicator. In this book, he actually has you listen to yourselves. He calls it tuning, like you're getting in tune, but you're getting in tune with yourself. And he has you do this exercise where you're quiet for 3 minutes. And I like what Oscar has to say. It seemed a little goofy to me, but it's like, be quiet and pull over if you're driving and listen. And I was at a listing presentation where I'm a realtor, and I decided, I'm going to do it. I'm a little early. I'm going to set my timer for 3 minutes, and I'm going to be quiet. And I'm going to ask the question that Oscar was, what are you telling yourself that you're not listening to? What are you telling yourself that you're not listening to? And I was quiet for 3 minutes. And when the 3 minutes were over, I realized, oh my goodness, I have like a little bit of noise in the back of my brain that I needed to really articulate, like I needed to figure out. For example, I realized, and I was ignoring the fact that my son, who was back for like a little bit of time before he went to his workplace for the summertime, was leaving on Friday. And this was like Tuesday, I think, or Monday. And I was like, oh my goodness, I need to create memories. I need to hang out with him. And then I realized, oh my goodness, my wife just finished finishing her new manuscript, and her deadline is on Friday, and I need to do something to celebrate this because she's been working on this thing for months. I knew these things were going on in the back of my brain. They're like whispering in my ear, but I needed to get clarity on this. And by having this little exercise, actually enabled me to to bring these things front and center. And it was a wonderful gift. It was a very, very wonderful gift that I gave myself, because it's very difficult to be someplace when you're someplace else. Very difficult to be at home when you're at the office. Very difficult to be at the office when you're at home. What I'm trying to say is when someone's whispering in your ear, it's very difficult to listen to someone else completely. When you have things that are whispering, when you're whispering in your own ear and you're not listening, it's very difficult to listen to other people. Now, I bumped into this at Brian Buffini's Mastermind Summit. I've been attending Brian Buffini's Mastermind Summit since 1999, and he just did his last one. Big fan of Brian. He was my boss for some time. I considered him a mentor. I've learned so much from Brian. And one of the things that he's done with us at this mastermind every year is to create goals in 5 areas of our lives: our spiritual life, our family, our business, our finances, and then the personal is broken up into 2 components: mind and your body. And what I realized was just recently, just the last one, this just happened in 2024, I realized, oh my goodness, what Brian's been doing every year is he has us actually write goals in these areas, but in a roundabout way, he asks us, what are you telling yourself that you're not listening to? And because of this event, actually, my wife became an author. It's been wonderful. She wrote a goal to become an author. I actually decided to, there's something in my heart. I wanted to go on business for myself. It was because I listened to myself. There were experiences. I wanted to go to Europe. I wanted to take my family to Europe. I realized I am not getting any younger. I'm serious. The window is shutting. And as a result of listening to myself, I have had a lot more experiences. I've had wonderful opportunities. I've changed my health. I realized, wow, I need to go see a doctor regarding this. Oh my goodness, I need to, get in shape. I need to lose a few pounds. I listened to my body. I've had back pain since I've been a little boy, since like 8th grade or something. And I realized if I do not listen to my back, back does not play. If I don't do my exercises, I don't do my stretches, I will become a pretzel. Financially, there's a lot of I see this all the time when people don't listen to themselves when it comes to the market. They get all this noise in their brain and like, James, I'm just waiting for their interest rates to come down, or they're always trying to time the market. And it's just fascinating to watch them on the sidelines of real financial freedom for years. It's incredible. It's incredible to watch. But they're torn because they got this, like someone's whispering to them, but they're not listening. So I'm just saying, when we listen to ourselves, great things happen. Really, really good things happen. Really good things happen. Let's go to the dark side of the moon for a second. When we don't listen, this is so easy to see in other people before we see it in ourselves. I remember when I was, I think, in elementary school, maybe junior high, I can't remember, but my sister had a really attractive friend. The friend was thinking about getting married to this guy who wasn't a Christian. They weren't on the same page, but he was really wealthy and he treated her nice, and she's kind of torn. And it was really interesting to watch because when you play the movie, you knew it was going to be a disaster. But she wasn't listening. And, divorce, you know how the movie ends. You already know how the movie ends. You do. Disaster happens when we don't listen. When we don't listen to ourselves. 100%. When we do not listen to ourselves, disaster happens. And it's so funny is we can only see it in others, but we rarely see it in ourselves. But what's funny is we think about it. When people don't listen, I just came from a board meeting with an HOA that was totally ticked off. And they're ticked off with the management company and the current people that are on the board because they're not listening. And it happens, or they're being ignored or ghosted. This, to me, is the Judas kiss. Now, I know our time is at a premium. And the Bible does say in Psalms chapter 1, don't listen to scoffers or mockers. I get that. But I've also seen, we've all seen this, CEOs and bosses and managers that don't listen. And it's only a matter of time before the, how do I say this in a nice way? Before the stuff hits the fan. Right? You can only hold your breath for so long, right? It's only a matter of time before things go really south really fast. You see this in fathers when they're not listening to their kids. They're really, really busy. They're trying to earn money, and that's all good. I get it. Or spouses. I spoke with a spouse the other day, and her husband's not listening. I already know where the movie's going. I know where it's going. Or you see that child that's not listening. Well, maybe the child's not listening because he's not being listened to. But anyway, that's another story. We all see it in others. When people don't listen, bad things happen. So I got 2 axioms here. Really good things happen when we listen to others. Great things happen when we listen to ourselves. Awesome things happen when we listen to God. When you don't listen to others, you get stupid prizes. When you don't listen to yourself, your life diminishes. And when you don't listen to God, you are playing with fire. So here's the question I have for you. I'm not trying to do guilt at all. No guilt whatsoever. But how can we listen to a God whom we have seen when you haven't listened to a brother who you have seen? Or another way of putting that, how can you listen to God when you don't even listen to yourself? Maybe I'm splitting hairs here. But I'm asking you today to listen to yourself. What is yourself telling you that you haven't been listening to? It's a crazy exercise. But my hunch is if you do this exercise on a regular basis, you will literally give yourself a gift the same way Brian Buffini gave me a gift every year. And then I realized I can do this like on a weekly basis. I can give myself this gift, saying to myself, okay, what is myself telling me that I'm not listening to? Get out my journal and start writing. Or I can say, what is God telling me that I'm not listening to? These are the things that make and break us. They're wonderful. So I just want to challenge you today. My hunch is we would all be better listeners if we free up the space in our mind. We will live an augmented life by first listening to ourselves, listening to God, and that will give us the capacity to listen to others. So I'm going to do the same challenge that Oscar Trimboli gave me. I'm going to give it to you. I'd like you to pull over, I'd like you to set a timer for 3 minutes. Set it on your phone. And ask yourself one simple question. What is myself telling me that I'm not listening to? All right, guys. I really appreciate your feedback. I love it. If you want to call the show with questions or comments, I welcome those. Please give me a call at area code 619-483-1530. Again, 619-483-1530. If I happen to miss your call, please leave me a detailed message, and I love to play your questions and concerns on the show. All right, thanks again, and God bless. Bye-bye.